Today's lesson is a review on linear measurement and perimeter. We know that the width of our fingertip is about 1 centimeter or 10 millimeters. We also know that our hand span is the same as about 10 centimeters or 1 decimeter. And we know that one giant step that we take is about 1 meter. This bus is about 10 meters long, or 10 giant steps. So if I had 100 buses end to end, that would be 1,000 meters, which is the same as 1 kilometer. So when would we use centimeters, decimeters, millimeters, kilometers, and meters to measure certain objects? Some of these measurements are used for smaller things and some are used for larger. For instance, if we were using centimeters, we might measure the length of an eraser. If we were doing millimeters, maybe the thickness of a coin. If we were doing decimeters, maybe you could measure the length of your desk at school. Meters maybe would be the length of a room, like our classroom. And kilometers are usually measuring distances. For instance, the distance from your house to the mall. Now let's look at measuring this red string. Usually if we were to use one unit of measurement, such as centimeters, we would just round off to the closest centimeter. So this string would then be 7 centimeters because it's just a little bit longer. However, when we want to be more precise, we can use 2 units of measurement, such as centimeters and millimeters, to get a measurement, or we can convert everything to the smallest possible unit of measurement just to be more accurate. If we were going to use 2 units of measurement, we would say that this string is 7 centimeters and 2 millimeters long. If we were to use the smallest unit of measurement possible, then we would use millimeters, and we would say that this string is 72 millimeters long. Whether we say centimeters and millimeters or all millimeters, both are more precise than just averaging out to the closest centimeter. We can do the same thing when measuring with meters and decimeters. We know that 10 decimeters is the same as 1 meter. We could measure this table in just meters, and we would say that it is about a meter long, even though it's a little bit longer than a meter. If we measured using meters and decimeters, we would say that the table is 1 meter and 2 decimeters long. We also know that 10 centimeters is the same as 1 decimeter, so you could even measure in meters and centimeters, saying that the table is 1 meter and 20 centimeters long. Either one would be more precise than rounding off to the nearest meter. Lastly, we could convert to the smallest unit possible and measure the entire table in centimeters, which would be 120 centimeters long. Lastly, here is a reminder of all the different units of measurement we've used and how they convert to one another. So 10 millimeters is the same as 1 centimeter. 10 centimeters is the same as 1 decimeter. 10 decimeters is the same as 1 meter. 100 centimeters is also the same as 1 meter. And 1,000 meters would be the same as 1 kilometer. Now let's talk about perimeter. Perimeter is the distance around the outside of a shape. You can see in this picture that we have a rectangle that is 4 centimeters by 2 centimeters. So to find the perimeter, you would add up the sides. We would put 4 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2 equals. When we add up the sides, we know 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 2 more is 10, plus 2 is 12. So the total perimeter of this shape is 12 centimeters. So we know that perimeter is the distance around the outside of a shape, and that we add all of the sides of the shape to find the perimeter of the object. Now let's look at perimeter in a different way. When we look at the perimeter of a rectangle, we know that opposite sides are equal because that's the properties of a rectangle. So we know that the 3 centimeter length that we see would also be the same on this side. And we know that the 2 centimeter width would also be the same on this side. So for a rectangle, I can actually double the sum of the length and the width. The sum would be 2 plus 3 equals 5. And if I double 5, I get 10 because 5 plus 5 is 10. If you are uncomfortable with doubling the sums of the side lengths for rectangles, or it's confusing to you, then just stick to the way that we learned initially, where we just add each of the side lengths separately to get your total of 10 centimeters. Sorry everyone, my dog Bear likes to make appearances in my videos from time to time. He saw somebody walking by through the window and of course he was barking. But again, in conclusion, so if you are comfortable with doubling the perimeter, or sorry, not the perimeter, but the two side lengths for a rectangle, so 2 plus 3 doubled, you can do that. Or if you're more comfortable just adding up all of 4 sides together, then stick with that method, 3 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2. When it comes to a square, we know that all sides of a square are equal. So you could again add all of the sides separately. 2 centimeters plus 2 centimeters plus 2 centimeters plus 2 centimeters is 8 centimeters. Or if you know your times tables really well, we know that all sides are equal. So if I take one side, 2 centimeters, and I multiply that by how many sides I have, which is 4, then I get 8 centimeters. Just another way to figure out how to do perimeter a little quicker. But once again, do what you are most comfortable with. If this is the method you like best, stick with it. Hopefully this little review has refreshed your memory on linear measurement and perimeter.